Hello and welcome to Glitch Cube. We're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
Chris.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us once again as we dive further into the world of games. So last week we talked a lot about the N64, our memories of it, the games we played, the silly controllers that we saw and used and just kind of had a laugh at, and the battle scars that we got from the N64 joysticks that were not very good. Oh boy, bad memories there. But this week we are going to be discussing the GameCube, a console that's actually was pretty funny because it got brought up to me yesterday during one of my esports classes, and one of the kids was talking a lot of crap about it, and I had to put an 8-year-old in his place. Which felt really weird. But he was like, the GameCube was the worst console ever. And I told him, get out of my class. And then they
worse than the Wii?
Yeah, he was going off on it. And I was like, have you ever played it? No. Okay. You have no right to say anything. And then he just continued to play as Kirby as his main. And I told him that Kirby is horrible and blah, 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 blah. But anyway. It was pretty funny. It was hilarious. But the GameCube, it holds a very special place in our hearts, I would say. Like, I mean, anything Nintendo, there's always going to be some hidden gems on there. But the GameCube just had so much to it. Of course, there was a lot of weird choices that Nintendo made with this console, right? I mean, the micro discs were one thing, which was a little awkward and strange. And it was the first time ever that I bought a full price $50 game and went, really? I'm paying for this tiny disc? For some reason that felt weird to me, right? Like when you buy a PS2, you get a full size DVD disc and you're like, okay, cool, rad, everything seems great. And then you open up the Nintendo and it's this little tiny piece of shit thing and you're like, oh, thanks, Nintendo. So it was the first time as a child when I realized, oh, it doesn't really matter how big the disc is, right? Like it's just going to put whatever the hell they want on it and charge you whatever they want. So I just kind of had to blindly accept that one. That was fun. Saving up on my birthday money to buy something and then that happens. But anyway, I particularly love the GameCube because one of my favorite game titles from Nintendo and one that I still play today, and I lead an esports group in it. I mean, Smash Brothers. Come on, right? Like, if you want to talk about GameCube, I'm just going to knock this out now. I'm going to bring it up now because I have a feeling if we bring it up later, it's just going to be a rant and ramble and take over the whole damn podcast. So, might as well just get it out of the way now. But Melee was amazing. Like, that game really set it off. I mean, the first original Smash Brothers was great, but Melee just did it right. It felt so good, and it made, like, if you look at any gamer or any professional Smash player, or most at least, that are playing in their 30s now, like they want to play on a wavebird. And for those of you who don't know, the wavebird is the name of the controller for the GameCube. Yeah. But it just feels right. It feels like that's how that game was meant to be played because we played countless hours on that game, on Smash Brothers. It just feels good. It's responsive, and it was just a wonderful title to play through. And playing with our friends was just so much fun. I used to have tournaments in my garage. It was really cool. And so the funny thing about my copy of Melee, right? So Melee was, I bought it with some birthday money, right? So I went over, scrounging together everything, picked up Melee. I get home and I was about to put it in my in the GameCube, right? So I took it out of the case, the disc itself. And then I forgot what I had to do, but I stepped away for a minute. So I just had the disc sitting on top of the case itself, not inside the case, right? And then I just hear this like scratching noise, like from my room. I'm like, what the hell is that? And at this time I had concrete floors because I had ripped out my carpet in my bedroom. And I go in there and I see my cat playing with my Smash Brothers disc and sliding it around the floor like it's a hockey puck. And by the time I get it, it is so scratched up that you can't see. Like, it's just so bad. Like, the scratches were so thick. It was horrible. It looked like my cat was biting it, right? So, of course, I tried putting it into the disc, and it doesn't read. I get an error. So I'm freaking out as a kid because I don't want to tell my mom that I just broke this game and I need to go return it. And as a child, I just didn't know, right? Like, I didn't think about it, right? I didn't think about, oh, I can just go exchange it for a different one. I thought like, that's it. Like I lost this game forever and I never even got to play it. And so that's whenever I started, like, this is early days internet. So I was Googling, how do you fix scratched discs and all this stuff. So I've read online that you can actually take alcohol to a CD disc and wipe it down and then dry it off and then wipe it again and dry it, right, like a few times. And for some reason that seems to work on really scratched up discs. So I did that.
Too.
I didn't know the toothpaste trick. So I sat there with alcohol in the bedroom and I'm just like pouring alcohol all over the CD disc, wiping it down with tissue paper, and it's like, disintegrating on it because I'm putting way too much alcohol on this thing. But I got Melee to work and it worked flawlessly every single damn time. So I was so happy. So my copy of Melee was a hot mess, scratched to hell. But man, I loved playing that game. Oh my gosh. And I fell in love. So I mentioned the wavebird controllers briefly, but there's one controller specifically that I just loved. And I found it one day at Blockbuster. It was a 2-pack set, a Spider-Man set. So I had a Spider-Man controller and a Venom controller in it. And the Venom one, oh man, it just looks so damn cool. So I think I owned like 8 packs of those controllers because I kept breaking my controllers. Like the thumbsticks would snap off, things like that. I played real hard back then. Like I even I even broke the stick off the C stick. Like at one point.
How do you do that? It's a little nub.
Yeah, that nub broke off. It was pretty bad. Yeah,
violent.
So, we were some violent players back in the day. It was pretty bad. So I went through so many of those. I bought, I think, at least 8 packs of those from Blockbuster. And then I never used the Spider-Man ones. So I had a basket of my controllers. The Spider-Man ones ended up in the basket for anybody else that came over. I didn't want to touch them. They were not the controller for me. It was all about that Venom controller because it just looks so damn good. I freaking love that controller so much. Man. But anyway, I'm rambling about one of my favorite GameCube memories there. How much did you even play the GameCube? I kind of like took over this whole start of this episode.
It's funny. Before we come up with this episode, I was thinking like, oh man, I remember really liking the GameCube more than the N64. Like I felt like I played a lot more games on it. And then when I kind of went through the game list and I was kind of trying to find all the games like that I played over the years on it, I'm like, I feel like I really didn't play as much as I thought I did, or at least a lot of the bigger titles. But I loved it. It was around the time that I was getting old enough to really pay attention to game releases to an extent. It wasn't like I was following developers, because I mean it was early 2000s. Like it wasn't easy to follow that kind of stuff unless it was E3 time. But I was getting into games more compared to, back with the PlayStation 1 and 64 era. Like this generation to me is, I think, when I really found my groove in a bunch of different genres. Before that, it was just really RPGs and platformers. But this one, it's like you had the Dreamcast, you had the GameCube, PS2, Xbox. And for me, before the GameCube, I had a Dreamcast. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, it looks beautiful. And then the GameCube, to me, even though a lot of people, and I get it, say the Xbox is kind of like the evolution of the Dreamcast, I almost feel like the GameCube was the other part of it. Because a lot of times the way a lot of games on the GameCube were so bright and quick, it reminded me of that. So I was super excited. And I mean, for the most part, I was always, as a kid, I was really into Nintendo because, I mean, it's what I grew up with. So, of course, I wanted the new best thing. I thought the little mini discs were kind of lame, but I dug it. I feel like, did I get it when the GameCube came out? I think I waited a little bit, but my earliest memory was going to Walmart, looking at the game kiosk, and I remember seeing Luigi's Mansion. And I was like, oh my God, this game is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the graphics blew me away. And I mean, yeah, we had, the PS2 right around this time. And I think, right? The PS2 came out in 2000, right? I always forget about the release date.
Same time.
Yeah, it came out the year before.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, it was early age, but the graphics were pretty good. But for some reason, Luigi's Mansion looked just so good. And it hyped me up. And I was like, I need a GameCube. And I remember bugging my parents, like, I want a GameCube. And I want it now, But
right.
So not too long after we ended up getting it. And I mean, just looking at the first year of the GameCube, right? The launch titles, it actually launched with, looks like almost 10 games. But when you look at the first year, it went hard. You had Luigi's Mansion as a launch. You had Rogue Squadron 2 as a launch, which that game was the titties. I love the Rogue Squadron games. And I remember Rogue Leader just like, oh my God, that to this day, that game still looks so good. Like, to me, the GameCube, for especially first party titles or like exclusive titles, they looked so timeless because the way the graphics look, it in a lot of ways, it reminds me of that, like, not Pixar animation, but it's kind of the animation of what I expect out of Nintendo games nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
They all have this certain look to it that, you don't need a 4K game on a Nintendo console because they know how to make their games look good with what their hardware can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the GameCube was just like, it just kept blowing me away every time I kept seeing pictures of it. Like, I remember this console hyping me up more than any other console at the time with how they looked and with the games. But after that, Super Monkey Ball, I loved it. I thought it was such an interesting idea, and it kind of got me into those kind of like fast-paced kind of arcadey balancing games. And kind of looking through, and still in that same year we had Pikmin, which this is actually what I want to talk about a little bit, because I remember seeing pictures of that in a magazine, and I was like, I love the way this game looks. But, and this is going to come as a shock, but I've never played Pikmin. Any of them.
They're weird. It's one of those, like, it's either you love them or you hate them. I really don't feel like there's an in-between where it's like, yeah, that was fun. Right? Like, it's...
And that's what scared me.
Yeah.
Because I love the look of it. I didn't want to be disappointed like that. So I just never ended up getting it. But last year I played Tinykin, which a lot of people said, like, this is basically like a modern version of it. And I loved it. It was in my game of the year, like top 5.
It's a lot faster, I will say that. Tinykin is like very quick. So very modern version of Pikmin.
And I think, should I try Pikmin? I know 4 is coming out soon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, you know what? Why don't I just try them? Like, I know I'm going to like it, and I love the look of it. That was another game that I was like, wow, these graphics are crazy. But
the graphics on the GameCube were very surprising. And like the difference between the PlayStation graphics and I would say the GameCube ones is that, like, GameCube and Nintendo, they knew their lane, right? Like, everything was a little bit more cartoony, but that made it like more timeless, I would say. Like, whenever, like, with PlayStation, everything was trying to be very realistic and say they were pushing the boundaries of graphics, but everything was just very polygony, sharp edges, that kind of aesthetic. And then you go to the GameCube and you start seeing like rounded edges and a little bit, maybe like some shell shading going on, right? Like, there's some like different looks that are here that are very fascinating that you wouldn't really, unless you dug for them, they weren't really like forward facing on the PlayStation. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to have something different. And looking back at these titles, like if you look back at gameplay of like, for instance, Luigi's Mansion, it still looks great. Like it still holds up. A lot of these games still hold up visual wise. Like Super Mario Sunshine, it still looks like a really good game. You know, like there's nothing wrong with that one at all. And it's kind of crazy to think whenever, you know, that came or that's over 20 years ago now. These games came out. Like that's crazy. But they
I
still
mean,
look good.
yeah, like you could look at Luigi's Mansion 1 and then look at 3 and be like, obviously there's better fidelity, but the core of it looks pretty close, you know, to an extent with what you're rocking. Like you said, 20-year difference. It's bonkers to me.
Yeah.
That same day that Pikmin came out, Melee came out, and like you, I loved it. And for me, I kind of did the same thing with the original Smash. I would create little fake stories in my head. And this is what I loved about these games. This is almost any fighting game. Because the story, you know, in Smash, it's kind of whatever. It's basic. It's just there. But
yeah, you just fight Master Hand. That's it.
You know, I would come up with stories in my head like, oh, like Marth is secretly in love with Peach, so he needs to fight the evil Mario. Like, I would just come up with stupid little stories with the characters, and it just made me love it. And I would play it constantly. Like, I loved Melee. I loved playing it with people. Like, it was a game that surprised me because like I said, I enjoyed the 64 version, but there was something about this one that was such an evolution from that first game. It's insane. Like, everything about it was such a step up, like a leap up from the original, that it's crazy how much they added to it. But, yeah, like I'm still looking at that same year, right? So it moving on to the new year, but still 1 year since the console came out. This is kind of a dumb title, but I weirdly have good memories of this. Simpsons Road Rage.
Oh, that game's great. It's a classic.
Hit and Run was another one I liked too, which is more like the GTA one. But Road Rage, I love Crazy Taxi. On the Dreamcast, I played the crap out of that game constantly. So when there was a Simpsons version, hell yeah, I'm gonna play it. And I love that there was so much stuff to unlock. Like, it was actually a good game. Like, you wouldn't think it, but it was so much fun running over different Simpsons characters and seeing them ragdoll. Like, I love that game. Like, to this day, I still think about, like, man, it'd be kind of fun just to boot that up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the first year is just, it's crazy. And I mean, towards the end of it, you start getting like, what was the one I just saw? Yeah, Burnout.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube is fantastic.
Yeah.
That was Resident a lot of fun. There's so many on there. And actually, there's a whole like genre of games that was phenomenal on the GameCube that are still great today. But the Mario sports games.
Oh, yes.
Toadstool Tour, Strikers. I mean, come on. Mario
Strikers was badass.
Strikers is amazing. That game is so rad. I freaking love Strikers. That's whenever all these, I mean, even the baseball one, right? Mario Superstar Baseball, that was a super fun game. They made sports fun. Like, they found a way to actually do that, which I thought was pretty crazy and really cool. But I don't know if you played this one, but I played the hell out of this game and I loved it. And actually, I just was watching some footage of it again today to see if it holds up in my memory, and it actually looks better than how I imagined it would look today, right? And this is Star Fox Adventures. Star Fox Adventures was such a rad game. So cool. I loved it. And actually, looking at the visuals now, it looks really, really good. and that game came out in 2002. Like, that's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I love that title.
Crazy to think that game was actually in development years before that, because I think if I remember right, it was supposed to be an N64 title, but because that was around the time that Rare was getting bought out by Microsoft, they wanted to release that original game as a Star Fox game and get it out right before, they were done with Nintendo. And that's kind of what happened to it. And I remember always seeing that game at Best Buy back in the day, and I was like, I love Star Fox, but I don't know if I like this. Never got to play it though, but it looked interesting. Is it like Zelda kind of combat?
Yeah, it's an adventure game, straight up. Like, it's actually really, really cool. Like, there's a lot to it. And I mean, the setting is really weird. It's Star Fox goes to like a dinosaur planet and has to help them. It's weird. And there's like some magic. I don't remember. It's been so long since I played. There's like a magic wielding fox as well. That's like a chick, like the kind of love interesty kind of vibe to it. But it's very interesting. And it looks fantastic still to this day. So I definitely would recommend checking it out, or at least watching some gameplay footage of it. Because I had a lot of fond memories of that. But, also this was during the time whenever I would only get like one game every once in a while. Right. So it wasn't like I would, you would just end up playing the hell out of what you got. I mean, that's the era that we lived in, right? Like you weren't getting a new game every week because they were just coming out. We were getting them every 6 months to a year, right? So you played what you got. And luckily, I mean, most of the games on the GameCube were actually really enjoyable for a long time. And they were, oh God, so amazing. They're like, looking at this list, I mean, Soul Calibur 2 coming out.
Oh yeah, when you can play as Link. Oh my God.
That was so cool. I love that. I bought that one right away. I was like, yes, please. I want to play this. And it was one of my favorite fighting games during that time. Obviously, Smash was always my go-to, but it was fun to boot up Soul Calibur and just, have some fun with that one. And then another game that really, I mean, I played it and I actually really enjoyed it, but like I'm not really huge into this genre. But Ikaruga, which actually came out year of release for the GameCube, that was a really cool game too. That was a lot of fun and visually really cool. And I don't know, like it made me appreciate that genre, that style.
The game still holds up. I played it like a few months ago and I'm like, man, like it's so cool. It's such a cool idea. I love that game.
Yeah. And then 2003, a couple years into it, here comes Pokemon Colosseum. What? Pokemon Colosseum was awesome. That was such a good game. I love
which one's better?
What's that?
The XD, that
Gale
one where it's like an actual 3D adventure. Like
that was a trip.
I didn't know that at first. I thought it was just another Colosseum game. And then when I saw that you can actually travel in a 3D like world, I was like, oh my God, this is the closest thing we've gone to what Pokemon is in my dreams. Like I was like, oh my God, it wasn't that bad of a game. Like it was for a spin-off Pokemon, like it was cool, really honestly.
Totally. I agree 100%. And actually, this was the first console or first time I ever actually played this other game. But I just remade this game in Unity, actually, so that I can teach it to the kids whenever we come back from our remodel. But Bomberman, the first time I played Bomberman was on GameCube, and I really enjoyed it. It's a fun little game. But yeah, I have a lot of really fond memories of that, just kind of playing with some friends, goofing off, right? Playing a little bit, and recreated the idea of Bomberman. I mean, obviously, Bomberman Generations was the 3D kind of trippy weird one, which I didn't do that. I did a classic Bomberman for the Unity remake, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, that's the first time I got introduced to the concept of Bomberman and just really enjoyed it.
Huh.
That was a lot of fun.
I always enjoyed the Bomberman games. They're always kind of fun with a group of people.
Yeah, it's like a perfect little party game, and it's a quick one too. So those are awesome. And then one of my favorite RPGs ever, Tales of Symphonia. Tales of Symphonia. I really, really love Tales of Symphonia. I think it was one of the, it's one of the first ones, or one of the very early RPGs that I really got into and made me really appreciate the story. I loved the artwork, where I bought the strategy guide just so I can have the character art and look at that and just draw it over and over again. Like, I love that style so much. It was a lot of cool. My sketchbooks were filled with Tales of Symphonia characters because I was just redrawing them over and over again. Yeah,
that game was really cool. I remember being hungry for an RPG, and that one stood out to me because I always remember hearing about the Tales games, but before this title, they were kind of like, at least in the West, they were more like sleeper hits, like Fantasia, of course, that wasn't out here, but the ones on like PlayStation, like, yeah, they existed, but they were never really talked about. So when this one came out, it was just cool. Like, the combat was interesting, it was different, and I liked it. And I feel like I played it a few years ago again to see if it still holds up, and I still enjoyed it. It's definitely up there for a Tales game that I still enjoy.
Well, the remaster looks great. So if anybody wants to try that one out, they just did a remaster of it not too long ago. Definitely check it out.
And they added the second part to it, because I know there was that little add-on for it. And I remember that being kind of interesting as well.
Yeah. I find the story rather interesting too. It was just good. It was a good tale. And I mean, this was actually the first Tales game I ever played, was Symphonia. So that, I think that just added that whole, like, introducing me to this style of game and just really enjoying it. So that was a great one.
I remember getting really into Sonic Adventure DX on this. I was big into Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, and when I found out that they made it look better and added some stuff to it, I lost my mind. I like the Sonic Adventure games. I know I'm crazy for that, but it was damn cool. Like, really I love the Chow Gardens and everything. Trying to think. Well, there was one other, not a port, but
I think Sonic Adventure was the last Sonic game I actually really played, like, all the way through.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the same with you. Like, I tried playing Sonic Mania a few years ago, and it was cool, but I don't know if I can really do Sonic anymore. Like, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, I enjoyed them, and I don't know if I want to play Sonic Frontiers. Like, I'm curious to try it, but I don't know. Pay that
money for it.
Yeah, I'm like, as someone who was more Mario focused than Sonic growing up, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have a strong connection to it that a lot of people do. But you know what game was awesome? F-Zero.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Dude, how fast that game was on there. Oh man. And to think that's the last F-Zero title that we've had since is a bummer, because
it's fun. A lot of people don't know like who Captain Falcon is.
Yeah.
In Smash Brothers, I actually get a lot of time. That's the one character in Smash Brothers that most kids ask, like, who is this guy? I'm like, yeah, F-Zero. It's a racing game. And then I always throw out the Power of Jesus thing. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah. So the creator of Captain Falcon and the F-Zero games, I forgot his name, but he went out there in an interview and said that Captain Falcon gets his power from his devotion to Jesus Christ. So that's where he gets his strength and his abilities. It's from his devotion to Jesus Christ. So there's always that.
So now we know that Jesus exists, and they in the
in
Nintendo world.
in the Nintendo like metaverse, yeah, Jesus exists. It's a real god for them. And if you
He
want
is
to
a toad.
if you want to become a good racer, then you need to strongly believe in Jesus Christ. So.
Jesus, take the wheel.
yeah, exactly.
The game was so damn cool. I feel like, what was it? Sometimes I wonder like how an F-Zero would be nowadays, because Nintendo really has put all their attention into Mario Kart.
Yeah, they don't do just like basic racing games anymore.
Yeah, like that new cruising game was a Switch exclusive, and I was thinking like, and I remember the cruising games being like a Nintendo, like I think second party title. So I was thinking, is this their like fast paced racer? Because it's weird that we haven't seen an F-Zero, and I know racers are not really the biggest thing, especially compared to Mario Kart. So I'm like thinking it'd be cool, but
I'm just wondering what they would add. I have a feeling they would Mario Kart it, and they would have abilities and things like that.
Yeah, even though a fast-paced race is cool, I don't know if people really want that anymore. Like I remember when Wipeout had their HD thing on the PlayStation.
Oh man, Wipeout was amazing. I love that.
Yeah,
game.
but it just didn't take off anymore because it's it's product of its time, which sucks. But at least make the older F-Zeros available in an easier way. So if people
maybe
wanted
just
to do
a
netcode
HD remaster of the F-Zero for GameCube, just re-release that.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. I mean, just so people can know, right? Like Captain Falcon's actually a very pivotal character in Smash Brothers. It's been around the entire time, and actually a really good character in Smash Brothers. A lot of competitive players play as him. So it would make sense to just at least give the remaster or something, right? So they keep that franchise alive a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. And I mean, you can say that about a lot of Nintendo games, is that they just kind of shove off some, but then they're happy to shove a bunch of like ports to the Switch.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because really when you look back at the GameCube, and I think I said this in a prior episode before, I feel like this was the last time Nintendo really took a lot of risks when it came to games they release themselves, like first party or second party, stuff like that. Because this is when we saw, like you said, all the sports titles, which, half of them still exist, or a good chunk of them.
I would say Luigi Mansion was a pretty big risk. That's a very different kind of game.
It's very different. I mean, the one which sadly isn't around anymore, but scared the hell out of me as a kid, Internal Darkness. Was fascinating with the sanity system, like how it actually like turns your screen off, how it has like roaches run across your screen. Like the game was so damn innovative at the time, which I've kind of looked back into, and I feel like it hasn't really aged all too well with the way it plays, like controls and stuff. But it was such a cool game, and for Nintendo to drop an M-rated game like that, like, it's bonkers. But
they do it like every once in a while, and it's always so surprising to see like what title they decide to put out that's their M-rated one for that time. Right?
Yeah.
Like with the Wii, it was Mad World. Remember that weird game?
Yeah.
But that was like such a big deal that when it came out, and it's just because there was black and white with a lot of real like red blood, right? It's just to make it a little bit more graphic. But yeah, Eternal Darkness was a very trippy game. I don't know how well I don't think it would hold up too well nowadays. But
I think if people kind of cleaned it up, I think it would do well. But I feel like the whole charm of it was the way it really messed with you with the sanity system. And I don't know, I'd be curious to see how that would work nowadays. But yeah, it's like, it's crazy when you look back at the GameCube, because I mean, think about the Wii. Like the Wii, experimented, but it mostly was just in conjunction with the controller. Like they didn't try too many crazy IPs. Like they just kind of stuck with what they had, maybe added one or two things, but they didn't break the mold. They didn't really come up with new characters, new stuff, which is a bummer because I feel like it's kind of been like that ever since. Like I feel like now at the Switch, they're kind of doing it, but I feel like they're still in that let's play it safe mode kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a game that really meant a lot to me back then in a lot of ways. And I remember seeing this game, like early images, I think, for the N64 in Japan was Animal Crossing.
Yeah, the original Animal Crossing, right?
That game blew my mind as a kid in a way that I remember reading about it in a magazine. I think it was EGM. And when they were talking about how the clock works and seasons and how you can live in it, it felt like the dream game for me. I love those kind of games. I was going to talk about this other game first, but I'll talk about it after. But Harvest Moon's always been a very big franchise to me, especially at that point. So when there's a game where it feels more like a sim, where you're like, oh, you're living in it. Like you can befriend villagers, you can do all this. Like my imagination blew up. I was like, oh, I can befriend everybody. I can live there, do all this kind of stuff. And while it didn't disappoint, I loved it. I played so much of it. And it was so unique and different. It's crazy to think back like, wow, that game was really mind-blowing to me as a kid. And the later iterations of Animal Crossing have always been kind of interesting. New Leaf was fascinating, and New Horizons or whatever the last one was, like, it was cool. It's kind of a bummer that they really just dropped off of it. Like, there's really been nothing new, and it's sad because I feel like this is the perfect game to just like dump new stuff on. But yeah, I just remember being so blown away by the concept. And I mean, how it took a whole memory card just for that game was always crazy to me too. But it's interesting how the GameCube really did feel like an evolution compared to other consoles at the time.
Yeah, totally agree. There's so many left on this like list here. Looking at it right now, and one game that I played a lot of, and this was a little bit later in the life of the GameCube itself, but Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh yeah,
that game was fantastic, and I remember I actually played that game all the way through, start to finish. I never turned it off, never saved it, just kept going. Which is
that was the game you told me that you did that, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I still need to beat it.
Which is just insane and just kind of ridiculous. My family still brings it up to this day. I sat there and did not stop playing it until the bitter end of everything, which is just, yeah, it's too much, honestly. But I would say probably the most impactful game that I remember from the GameCube, besides Melee, of course. I mean, Sunshine was great and everything, but the one, and we've talked about it a lot, so we don't have to go into it in too much nauseum. And we talked about it recently too, but Legend of Zelda: Windwaker. I think that really changed everything when it came to Zelda for me. And just seeing the art style alone, the cell shading, and how it changed just the look, and this game was fantastic. The exploration was great. I mean, of course, now looking back at it and seeing the world was pretty empty, right? There wasn't that much. It was a lot of sailing to islands that were very spread out. They could have condensed that down just a little bit, but the sailing was fun, and especially for that time. And it was a great title. A lot of great memories, a lot of great time just exploring and finding treasure maps and just seeing what was out there in the open seas. And it was one of the first Zelda games that allowed you to just explore freely like that, which was pretty fascinating. And it really encouraged that exploration of just go in this direction and see what happens. What are you going to find? Right? They had like the little mini challenges out there with the like the dice islands, right? Like there was and all that, which were really cool. Finding the fairy islands, just there was so much out there to just explore and just figure out. But it was such a great title. One of my favorite ones on the GameCube for sure.
Yeah, Wind Waker, I think I was in that group of people, and I think I mentioned in the last episode that I was kind of bummed that it was more cartoonish at first, but then it grew on me to the point where when Twilight Princess came out, I almost was uninterested in it because it felt too realistic, which is what I originally wanted from Wind Waker.
Yeah, which is too funny. Yeah.
Wind Waker is special to me, definitely, because it was just a comforting experience. If a Zelda game can be comforting, it was that game. And it's a game I still hold very close to my heart because I don't really know what was going on in my life at the time because I was pretty young, but I just have very, very fond memories of it. And it's interesting how when Twilight Princess came out, granted it was like at the end of the GameCube's life. I think I was already on the 360 at that point. It was 2006.
Yeah, but, and that came out on both the Wii and the GameCube. But that was like one of the last titles.
Yeah, and I had it on the GameCube, and I remember being like, oh man, it looks better on the Wii. Like, this sucks. But I remember playing a little bit of it, and I kind of liked it, but at the same time, it didn't capture me like Wind Waker. And at times, I'm like, should I go back and play Twilight Princess? Like, I love the look of it now, but yeah, it's kind of weird how I just kind of fell off the Zelda franchise after that. Like,
yeah, I really do want to go back to Twilight, and it's funny because I had the Wii at the time, and I got it for the Wii because of, like you said, it looks better. So I was looking for the better experience. And then while I was playing it, I was like, oh man, I wish I had the controls of the GameCube. Like, I don't want to play it like this. I didn't like the nunchucks. They kept like, failing. And this was early in the days of the Wii, where I remember playing Metroid Prime on the Wii, actually. And wherever you started the game, you can't move. Like every time I would like move on the couch or whatever, or like, adjust like 2 feet over, the sensitivity, it was off. So like that happened constantly with these games early on, especially if they had any kind of aiming system at all. So that was just really frustrating to deal with until they came out with like the Wii Motion Plus add-on but that's a whole nother ridiculous conversation with their controllers. Yeah.
That little thing.
Yeah.
I hate those Wii remotes because I feel like they just die out of nowhere. Like I think I have
so many
6 in my
batteries.
closet and only 2 work nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what happened? Like, why are they so crappy? But
they would just erode on you. It was bad.
It's interesting how Twilight Princess hasn't been re-released, or Wind Waker, when we're starting to see more GameCube games being re-released, right? Like Metroid Prime recently, which I still need to finish. I'm very close, I think, to the end.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 just got remastered, yeah.
That too, and it wasn't remastered, I think, but it was ported. But Mario Sunshine, which that was something I want to bring up because I remember seeing images of that game, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is another beautiful game, like Luigi's Mansion." And I was super hyped to play it. I remember going to Blockbuster. Every time I went, always gone, and I just ended up never playing Mario Sunshine. I have it now for the Switch, but I'm like, part of me wants to play it, but then when I read what people say, a lot of people are like, just play Galaxy instead. But
it's great. Sunshine's a great game. I recommend playing it. It's
fun. I want to live up. Yeah, I want to live up to like what my childhood always wanted to play. Like I remember being super, super soaked on it.
Like,
but
Galaxy is a lot of fun. I will say it's a great game, but Sunshine had its charm too. I mean, they're two very different games, I would say. So I would definitely recommend playing Sunshine. And
Yeah.
you're just gonna have fun with it. It's super lighthearted. I mean, it's Bowser Jr. all day, right? Which is great. There's like graffiti everywhere. It was like the teenage version of Mario at the time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I kind of going back on what I said about the weird titles on the GameCube, and I mean the Harvest Moon one isn't weird, but I loved where that was going. But there was two that really stuck out to me that were just weird. Cubivore. I remember a friend of mine dropping that title off. He like wanted to trade my Rogue Squadron for that. He said he hated Cubivore. Kind of wish I kept it because that thing's worth a lot of money nowadays. But I thought it was so damn cool because basically it's a, survival of the fittest, right? You're trying to eat other creatures to get better and stronger. And I don't know, like it was just so damn cool. I love those kind of games, like trying to get bigger in size through like overtaking others. Like it's
like Katamari style. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. But if there's one title that I've been wanting to play for the past few years again, and I think it's a crime that it's nowhere. Odama.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I hate bringing this up because a lot of people will be like, oh, you mean Okami? Which, Okami's great too, which I think was on the GameCube as well, if I remember right. Or at least it was in that era.
So it was around that time.
But Odama, for those out there that don't know, it's a pinball RTS. Basically,
that was a weird one. Yeah.
It's feudal Japan, and it's, there's armies on there, there's soldiers, but you're playing a pinball map while you're doing it. And it was so weird. Like, I remember seeing the cover of it, and I think this came out towards the end of the GameCube as well. And it was in a bargain bin, or, as bargains can be. It was like, I don't know, it was probably like still $20. But I was like, this looks kind of cool. I love pinball. I'll give it a shot. And I ended up loving it. Like, I want to replay it right now because it was just so damn cool. If you introduce a pinball mechanic in any game, I'm going for it. Like, any of these new titles that do it, I adore it. And I feel like this game, I feel like people have tried to do modern versions like Rollers of the Realm, but no one's been able to capture the artistry of Odama.
Well, I mean, it looked like an actual watercolor painting. I think that was what was pretty fascinating about it. And it was so bizarre. It was a really strange title. And like I said, this was the age for taking risks on the GameCube, 1,000%. And that's definitely a pretty big risk. I mean, pinball games have been around forever. I mean, pinball's been around since the beginning. At one point, it was even outlawed by the government, which is pretty crazy and ridiculous. But I don't know, this was such a different take on pinball. And I like seeing like these classic games being revisited and revamped. Like the game that you just sent recently to me too, the Tetris game. What was it called again? Sediment or
oh yeah.
Tetris. Like, that's such a cool concept, and it's just a different take on a classic title. And I mean, this is such a different way of looking at pinball and what you can do with it, and actually using, I mean, obviously it still had like the flappers and you can still like tilt the map, like you would tilt the machines and everything built into that. But then it also had like, I mean, the map, the hills, the terrain, soldiers out there that would actually react if you hit them with the ball. And it was a lot of cool stuff to it. And the like overall gameplay itself was very surprising, I would say, because it was still a war game. Right, like there was a task that had to be done. It was get your troops had to get a key to a lock, right, most of the time or something like that. And they were being attacked by other troops, so you had to like take them out before your troops got taken out. But you were helping by launching this giant boulder around. It was very Very strange idea, but very clever and just different. All right. Well, we've discussed so many. We actually went through a lot of games this time. And I
Yeah.
was thinking about it last time when we did the N64 episode of, going through the list of games at the end, once again, just to kind of say which ones we talked about, because we discussed a lot there too. But the list is a little too long this time, in my opinion. There's so many.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot. Honestly, like really, what's great about the GameCube is I feel like you can pick up any title and have a fun time with it. They found a really good formula with the GameCube when it came to visuals, when it came to gameplay, that just worked for most of the games. I mean, of course, there's probably a couple games on there that weren't super great, but if you buy a Nintendo game and it's, Nintendo branded and all that, like if you're buying a Mario game or you're picking up Melee or whatever it may be, you know that you're going to have a fun time with it. And what's great is a lot of the franchises like either found their legs or got started here, which were some ones that are just classics to this day, where people, like a lot of kids that I talk to, are still bringing up games like Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door, which I think is amazing because they were nowhere near alive at that time. It's kind of weird, but it's still being talked about today, which is amazing. And a lot of the games, the console itself is, I mean, come on, the color that they chose. We talk about gambles and games. They gambled on the color as well. They went with purple, but not just any kind of purple. They made sure that it was royal purple because Nintendo wanted everyone to know Nintendo is king. And while the GameCube didn't sell as many units as, other consoles out there, the games that they put out there were quality and they have lasted. They really have stood the test of time, to be honest. And they're games that still hold near and dear to our hearts today. So yeah, definitely go out there and check out some GameCube games if you haven't. A lot of them are coming to the Switch, which is great. The fact that they're revamping all that. But then, if there's ones out there that you can't pick up or play, just watch the footage of it because you'd be quite surprised at how they look. A lot of them still look fantastic. Okay. Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Hope you guys enjoyed our little conversation here. We'll talk to you guys next week with some more games. But until then, bye for now.